bloody so bright there, the sun.
Are you moaning that it's bright? Is that why you're squinting, Jake?
Yeah, that is the reason I'm squinting.
Is it? No one's mentioned that you squint.
No, Chinese
Are you
joke.
squinting?
No.
He always squints. We are recording, by the way.
Oh,
Are we?
So yeah, they've very kindly brought us a fresh cup of
It's
tea
lovely,
and
I tell you
coffee.
what. Blues up.
No.
A little bit of ambient sound effect
Nice.
there.
Oh, no.
Nice.
Just
Nobody wants to hear a slurp down the mic, really.
Cheeky.
Come on.
So yeah, people are just driving on the way to the match and just hearing someone drink coffee down there. Lovely.
Listen to you slur.
Almost as bad as you chewing or something. No. Can't deal with it. Right. Andy May's life in fishing.
Yes.
So we'll start at the start.
Okay.
How did you get into it? Who took you? Where did you go?
Daddy May, my dad, he got me into it when I was 3-year-old. Took me to a reservoir called Ogden Reservoir, and I caught 2 perch in my first ever fish, and I've just been hooked ever since. Obviously brought up on natural waters. There's no commercials whatsoever back then, so it was all sort of like proper old school swing tip fishing,
Swing tip.
spring tips, and proper feeder fishing, slider, waggler, you name it.
Nice.
Then it was onto the River Ribble. Then we moved further up, not up north, it was sort of like down because we were in Oldham originally. Then we moved down to sort of Cheshire, and that's when fished the likes of the River Weaver, the River Dane. And yeah, obviously commercials come on the scene. I think I was 13 or 14 when I fished my first commercial,
Right.
which was Morelands Farm.
Yeah. Is this about the same sort of time you started getting on the Camazon Matchman of the Year trail?
I'm not starting about that yet.
1962 Camazon
I've not
Matchman
even
of the Year.
mentioned anything about that, you pair of
All right.
bastards.
Okay.
Oh,
Carry on.
Thank you. Did I swear again then?
Cool.
So yeah, no, it wasn't anything to do with the Camasan then yet.
No.
Then it was Gold Valley. That was for England trials. I fished a few England trials, the youth trials on the Gloucester Canal as well.
Yep.
The River Trent, and then yeah, you just obviously the more sort of high profile matches that you fish, the higher calibre of angler you mix with, and you just can't not learn.
Yeah.
Simple as
So
that.
taking it back right to the very start, was it something that you kind of expressed an interest in as a kid that you wanted to, or was it just Daddy May saying, right, you're coming fishing?
To be fair, yeah, Daddy May sat behind me with a bank stiff and I missed a bite. That was it. Get one of them in the back. No, it's just something I'd always wanted to do. I used to play a bit of rugby as well at school, and I was never any good at football. Proper useless at football.
You're just one of them units that no one could,
I
you could
think-
just walk through, all the kids are like dragging them along on your ankle.
Pretty much, yes, right. I like rugby. I like feeding loads of bait, so fishing I do as well. But then obviously it went a little bit further, and yeah, I just proper had a passion for fishing. Just couldn't get enough of it from proper early age. And obviously back then there was no. Well, we had computers, but they took like 4 days to load up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
like now you switch it on and it's there straight away. Potatoes.
So that when you were young, natural venues.
Yeah, strawberry
If
blonde
you
hair
walk-
like Rich.
if you
no
walked-
centre parting I had. Go
If
on,
you walked along a canal
Yeah,
or a river, you would
definitely.
see anglers. Obviously, nowadays,
Yeah,
spider on your nose.
yeah.
Nowadays, commercial venues, they're all behind closed doors.
Mm.
As a young 10-year-old, for example, walking along the canal, you wouldn't see anybody.
No.
Do you think that is having an effect on the amount of anglers getting into fishing? Like, as a young lad walking along a canal and seeing an angler, I would have said, I want to have a go at that.
It is that, mate, but it's also the fact that obviously social media is playing a big part, and obviously computers, technology, it's evolved. Technology, what's one of them? I'm still at looking for the A on the keyboard when I'm doing the words for you, you know what I mean? I think technology's just advanced, and, people have got other things to...
Kids would rather play a PlayStation
watch.
than go fishing.
Yeah, it's a shame, but obviously everything evolves. It's like things in fishing evolved, doesn't it? Like we talked about before, about the bit of line and a BB shot. It's just one of them things, and it's such a shame. But yeah, there's no, certainly on our canals, which are hard, full of sticklebacks. There's no anglers fishing them really, and that's the beauty of these kind of waters where we are today. Commonwood fishery, commercials. Obviously you've got toilets here, you've got cafes, you've got lakes full of fish. You can't fail, and it's getting anglers or certainly kids to come to waters like this. yeah, brilliant if they get into natural waters as well. But this is the future of fishing.
Yeah,
without a
and
doubt.
definitely you couldn't put a canal on the Fishermania
Especially
final, and
Not with
it
all
wouldn't
the
be of
line.
any interest to anyone, would it? If the
No.
weights are so low, it's
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, back in the day as well, obviously you didn't know who was knocking about, and it's even more so now. You know, you just don't know. Whereas they're safer at a commercial. Simple as that. It's a shame, but that's the way it's gone, isn't it?
yeah. And England. So you were in the England youth setup.
Yep.
What happened there? What was your
So
sort of journey through the England
I had
ranks?
my first trial at Willow Park when I was 13, and then I had trials on the Gloucester Canal. I've had them on the River Trent, and then I finally got in at Gold Valley, where it was long range waggler with balls of sticky mag, chucking it sort of 45, 50 yards. So I got the call up when I was 17, and that
Who was in charge then?
that was Downsy, Mark Downs.
Downsy,
So obviously I owe him a hell of a lot in my fishing. Massive respect for Mark Downs. We went out to Portugal on the Rio Soraya in Carouche, and I managed to draw an MPEG the first day and win my section. And then I come second in my section by 20 grams.
Nice.
Got beat by a German by 20 grams. But I got individual silver medal for that, and we got team bronze as well.
Oh, was that old school picture of you with the centre
Yes,
parting and
strawberry
holding
blonde.
2 medals in a bright white T-shirt?
Definitely,
yes.
mate,
I've
that's
seen
the
that
one.
once or twice.
The medals are on me
I
now.
think it's probably on the map page somewhere. If
So
you
what?
scroll back
What were you
far,
far.
you put
catching?
it on.
What were you catching
So it
then?
was
then?
little barbel
Yeah.
and carp, and there was there's a little tiny silvery fish called a sunfish, I think they were.
Yeah.
I remember Richard Taylor winning his section on the second day. He caught loads of these little things on a whip, and we didn't really practice for him. In practice week it was all long range waggler, and obviously traditional waggler, firing loads of M-pin. But we've seen all these shows of like little fish. After the first day we knew it was hard, so we've gone for them. Well, most people have gone for them. I didn't. I stuck to the waggler.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just one of them things. It was fantastic. It was brilliant to have the opportunity. And then the following year it was in Croatia. So it was on the River Drava, and it was the first time I'd ever seen these big, the floats were like this kind of thing, these big
Yeah.
lollipop floats. None of us in the England team had ever seen them before. So we were taking like these big sort of 20 gram bodied floats, obviously like that in the tow because it's really strong current, and we just couldn't compete, simple
Yeah.
as that.
I think it's all that sort of fishing. It seems so kind of specific to the venue that they're fishing that unless you're the home nation or that you've got that
yeah.
same sort of fishing locally,
Yeah.
it's almost like you're having to learn something brand new. So you kind of almost write off first place,
Yeah,
don't
we-
you, for
we don't.
the host?
We don't do that sort of thing. But
No.
I don't know. Maybe a
I really
really
enjoyed
flooded
it, but
River Wye might.
it's
be,
what you know now,
but-
though. After that, yeah, I'd love to go back, and obviously they've had the world champs and European champs on it, haven't they,
Yeah.
recently? And I'd love to go back and give it another go.
I think it's something similar where they're
It's only
going
this-
on the world champs,
It's
isn't
a
it?
European champ. Matt
European
Matt
champs,
Godfrey
yeah.
and Lee are out there,
Lee
aren't they,
Carey's
something?
going, yeah. But yeah, I think it's something similar.
Big dinner plate kind of floats.
Yeah.
And that. Yes,
Yeah,
I'd love
so,
to have a do.
so
with
they'll
that.
be going out there. I know Lee's taking stronger poles,
Yeah.
strong tackle because it's going to need it.
So there's
'cause
nowhere that caters for it over here.
No.
You can't.
I think it's because it's not even something you could produce now. It's
No.
because it's all big natural venues and stuff that you can't
and
suddenly
obviously
decide
the
that there's a river
matches
going to appear.
in Europe are completely different to
Yeah.
ours. Obviously, we fish for tokens, and they're like trophies and medals, aren't they? and
Oh,
that?
Pete, I was actually talking to Jordan on this
Go on,
Holloway, and what was that? Don Haymaker, Slaymaker,
in,
that
Don
big
Slaymaker,
festival.
yeah.
Yeah,
in
that he
Holland.
won. He won a used car. That was a prize at the end of it, and he said,
The one where he caught all them breams.
Yeah,
the Holland one.
it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a used car for the prize, and
Nice.
he couldn't obviously take it back, so he got one of his mates over there to sell it and got like 800 quid for it. So it can't have been a very nice car. Bit of a
800.
random prize. So it's,
No, so isn't it? That's all right.
but you'd rather just have the cash, not a
Catching the
car.
bream.
Yeah, that's the thing. There used to be so many trophy matches back in the day, so that was always the thing, a trophy, and everyone loved it. And there's not so many anymore, and
No.
everyone loves a trophy.
Junior
but
matches, wasn't it?
there's-
Like
yeah.
the junior, like the Warrington junior matches.
Warrington
and all that on the bridge.
Junior-
It was
Warrington,
it's brilliant.
You just need big checks for
You
win
were
a
carping,
section.
mate. You were a carpy, weren't you, back then? Well,
Yeah.
you still are, but no,
But
aren't
nah,
you?
I don't do a lot now.
Camo.
A
I'm
massive
surprised I can
check
see you
for
today.
50
You're not in
quid.
your camo, are you?
Sorry?
Massive check
Yeah.
for 50 quid.
And like just plaster a wall with them or something. Well, the checks probably
Paint
cost
your
more than
face,
50
get some
quid.
camo on, Rich, didn't you? Surprised I can see you. You normally have your sort of like disappearing kecks on, don't you, mate? You know what I mean?
Sounds a bit weird.
Apologise, people.
This is the Matchcast after hours.
Cheese bottom half sometimes.
Moving on from Rich's bottom half
now.
England.
Yes.
So you got to that point.
Yeah.
You didn't.
So pretty soon after that, obviously sponsors. Now I've got to pay special.
Special.
I've got to pay special to Tackle Shop Daves and Middlewich. They pretty much looked after me since I was 6-year-old, so I owe them. Dave Costello and his daughters, Anne-Marie and Julie, looked after me. Even to this day, they still look after me now. Not like they come and wake me up in the morning and get to the match or anything like that, but I mean, sorting on my bait out, anything that I want pretty much, so I owe them a hell of a lot. And then obviously after England, I had my first major sponsor. And then it's just obviously continued since then. Started fishing a few Kamasan matches, boys.
Kamasan.
Avoid the Kamasan for a second.
Yeah, stop
What-
trying to
I
rush.
Well, I was
onto
going
the
to go.
Kamasan.
I was going to go then, people. Get ready. It's going to happen.
Kamasan.
What kind of major stop fishing for England was it?
I never stopped fishing. I love fishing.
Stop fishing for England. Were you not good enough? Or?
There was a bit of that, Rich. Have you heard it? Honestly, he's been like course fishing for 2 minutes and tell you what, qualifies for the fish on his first go.
Have I not mentioned that?
No, not yet.
I think I have.
Just like I've not mentioned the Kamasan. So basically, I didn't like team fishing. I love obviously winter leagues and that where you're sort of restricted to 5 or 6 matches. But the team fishing, I've always wanted to be like individual glory, and that was it for me. Obviously, when commercials come out and I could proper attack these commercials and just catch everything swimming, I absolutely loved it. And then our canals, what we were brought up on, they were proper hard, like the Trenton Misery and Shropshire Union. They were so hard. They were like full of sticklebacks and. You know what I mean? I just
Daddy rough.
I'd always enjoy me fishing.
Not
but
many rough this side of the north.
no, there's not. There's loads in the Weaver.
There's some round
full
us.
of them in the Weaver.
In Burton.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get them
but
around Midlands and
that
South
was it.
and that.
That's what made my decision when I was sort of like late teens, early 20s, just individual.
So it's
And that
just
was it.
That's
But
what
I
you
mean,
fancy
obviously,
doing.
it stood me in good stead from what I learnt in them early days. Obviously, no commercials, so it's pretty much all rod and line fishing. I don't think I got my first pole until I was 13 on my first England trial. Shimano Diaflash. Oh
Nice.
yeah. And then that was it. And obviously, you're learning to compete at different levels and
It's
different.
It's got to be like
styles.
a massive expense as well from
Oh,
your side of things
mate.
to fish for England.
Daddy May, obviously Dave's and Middleton mentioned, but my dad, I owe him obviously absolutely everything. Paid for everything when I was young, travelled here, there and everywhere with me, even abroad,
Yeah.
to like obviously Portugal, Croatia, supported him, and my mum and my sister. Got to mention them as well, haven't I?
You did an acceptance speech.
Yeah, that comes at the end after I've mentioned about the Kamasan. But yeah, obviously I owe everything to my dad as well. He paid for everything, looked after it, still sorts me out now, wakes me up. Come on, Andy, we're going here and there. And yeah, it's just one of them.
I think that's a nice little segue actually. I've just seen it before. So
Segue.
Segue.
One of them things.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a go on them.
Loves
you not?
the word
Never
segue.
had a go. Mate, can you imagine me on one of them?
On our little
Well,
list, Rich has
split
written
down there
segue 4 times.
Segue.
Segue into this.
It's a very radio term, isn't it?
I thought it was one of them bikey things.
Yeah. But yeah, just seen it as I was setting off for this. That Guru were doing a live feed.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've backed the
15s.
under 15s.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And the kit they're sorting them out with,
Have you
to be
seen
fair.
them seat boxes?
Mate, they've done like proper Reeve seat boxes, full
With
rods,
them-
reel,
yeah, it's brilliant.
like
Guru
top end stuff.
Reeve with an orange lion's head looks the absolute
Awesome.
Like
dog stanglers.
Halcon Hunt have sorted out all the clothing. Now, why is there a police car turning up?
Oh yeah, I know
come
you was
for
here
Andy.
before.
Halcon Hunt are like sorted them out all branded clothing, all
Brilliant.
free of charge. Daiwa, because I think there's is it a 10 metre pole limit on the under 15s or?
It might be. I thought it was
And-
11, but it might be 10.
But
yeah.
it's dead specific as well, not like you get it 11 off.
Yeah.
So they've done specific poles for them, cut down to the right length, so they don't have
It's
to.
fantastic.
And it's like
I mean, to be fair, we always had that. We always had the gear. We always got
Yeah.
a box every year. So yeah, it's fantastic. But
It's-
what Guru were doing is brilliant.
They're doing a lot. Talent Pathway as
Talent-
well, and
the Match
they're doing a
Academy.
lot. But then there's a lot in there. There's
Yeah.
Preston Innovations as well are doing really well.
Yeah.
Like with the feeder team, that side of things.
Ah.
It's nice to see some of these teams getting sponsorship. It's not all of them are quite so fortunate. There are still some of our England teams that go out, the self-funded.
England ladies. Well, it's all of them apart from the Overs team, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, the
And
main and the
they've got to
under
fund it all
15s, yeah.
themselves. Yeah.
But I think it's almost the same as any sport, isn't it? There's always going to be your main teams getting the sponsorship, and then there's ones that get forgot about, which
Yeah.
isn't nice, but it's kind of just the way it is, unfortunately. But there does seem recently more brands and people getting involved and backing them that it needs to be a kind of industry-wide thing. I think.
Obviously, the future of our
supporting them.
sport. So yeah, it's fantastic.
But fair play to Guru. I've
Yeah,
seen
definitely.
that over the today and last night. The gear that they're sending each
Yeah.
of the under 15s
Same
team
colours
out
as us,
with.
Rich, and all
Oh,
that,
yeah,
mate.
proper
Strawberry
bright
blonde.
orange. But
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's wicked for what they're doing, and it'll be interesting to see what they do off the back of it, because it's a strong team of young anglers as well, and it's kind of this. Hopefully, is the start of it. So getting behind
It's
them,
at
and
that age, isn't it? You know what I mean? Obviously,
yeah,
the
by the
straight-
time they're 18,
Yes.
19 sort of thing, they'll be
Yes.
smashing it right up.
Yeah, excuse.
So now you.
Oh,
can,
you're on about the fishing? Oh, right, okay. Cheeky.
you
As long as
can-
they don't get distracted.
yeah, when they head off to university.
Females and drink. No, fishing. Come on, little boys, fishing.
Now you can move on to.
Oh,
your
have I not mentioned it yet?
The sponsorships. Did your
Oh,
sponsorships
Kamazans.
come before Kamazan?
So my first major sponsorship was with Maver, and that was just as I was sort of like doing the Kamasan. That was the first year I'd won it. It was always Dave's and Middlewich. Had a bit of sponsorship off Census as well. My first major one was Maver, and then it was Shimano and Misella.
Maver dropped you because you weren't good enough, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty much. But there we
That's
go.
what they that's what they told you.
Yes. But
Brilliant.
there we go. We'll brush past that. Replacing the two club anglers. But yeah, we'll brush past that. So then, obviously, Shimano, Mazzella, and then it was MAP.
Where was Ultima?
Ultima, yes.
You did,
How can you
did
forget
a
about
good
that video?
video with
I
them,
tell
didn't
you what.
you?
Yeah,
Word,
I've
talking
got
about
I've got a
Ultima.
little note here.
Go on.
Porn star videos. That's
Yeah.
all it says. So explain.
What you want? Yeah, so
That's
I
his
did this
search
way back in, I think, 2007. I got the opportunity to work with the porn star.
Brilliant.
And it is still on
It's
Google.
still on
It's
YouTube.
on YouTube.
It's
if
got
you
like quite a few views.
Search
to be
like
fair.
Ultima Andy May, and I'm sure it'll come up.
just come
somewhere
up.
along
Waggler
the-
Techniques, I think it was called, or something like that.
Waggler in your keep net.
Cheeky.
So yeah, what talk us through it?
What, the Waggler Technique?
No, the filming.
Oh, the filming, yeah, it was. Obviously, she's come and was. Well, no, she didn't. That was a bit of a wrong thing to say. I do
Love it.
apologise. I hope you're not watching, Louise. I do apologise.
Lou.
Can we edit that bit? No, so she was there,
Yeah.
and just getting proper looked after, fur coat, and it was freezing cold, and I was in my t-shirt, cold, no makeup. She was getting makeup, and so it just.
Yeah.
It was one of them.
It's a
Just-
brilliant video.
just search on
yeah,
YouTube and you'll
It
find
was
it.
a series of like cheesy chat-up lines, because obviously the company I was sponsored by at the time was a line company, so it was saying these lines to her, but the one that got her in the bushes at the end was me saying Ultima, whispering Ultima into her ears. So it'll all become clear.
We'll
if you
share
watch it.
we'll share it on the Matchcast Facebook
Yeah,
page
cheers,
as
Rich.
well.
Cheers, mate.
Bring that back to
Nice.
light.
Thank you very much, mate.
You're very welcome. What was next on the list?
Andy's moving on to Kamazan, which
Ka-
I've not heard this story
Have you not?
1,000 times yet. So
Well,
please go on.
I've told it you a few times, haven't I?
as I started at MAV, this was like
So-
before he'd won Fisho, this was all he had on his CV. Was like in what was it,
Oh, yeah.
1962 or something. You'd won Kamazan Matchman.
64.
62 and 64.
I'm 63.
Oh,
No,
us-
it's obviously Kamasan's something I'd followed for a long time, and then when it come on to commercials, it used to be massive back in the day. It used to be like
what's
80 to
the
100.
kind of format of the event, just for people who
So
like me don't know?
the first time I tried to qualify, sort of late teens, it was matches where there had to be 60 plus anglers, and you got 4 points for a win, down to 1 point for fourth on any match on a bank holiday or Saturday and Sunday. So no midweek matches whatsoever. And then it dropped down to 15, and in the later years it dropped down to sort of 30, I think.
Yeah.
And then Bagger just kept winning it every year, so he took the title, so we got rid of it. But yeah, so obviously that got me noticed a lot as well. The first year that I won it, I mentioned I won it now, that's all right, isn't it?
Yep.
Back in 2000, it was from 14 different venues. A lot of them were still natural venues back then.
Were there?
And just to explain as well, because recently we did a feature at Meadowview.
Yes.
So you would go from one venue and then go and fish a night match
yeah.
at another
so,
venue, two matches in a day.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
the sort of level of dedication that you had when you were chasing the
Oh,
points.
mate, it was massive for me. So I'd be getting straight on it on like a Friday night, Saturday night, with mates going out, and I'd be getting in at all hours in the morning, and my dad would be waking me up, and he'd be travelling here, there and everywhere, and as I say, I owe him everything for that. But it was still, I had the hunger that I still wanted to go,
Yeah.
I never, it's still not left me now. So chasing these points, I'd fish a day match at somewhere like Cudmore, then they'd have a night match at Meadowview or vice versa. And quite often you could go and score, quite a few points, to get like a double header. I've had a few double headers on a Saturday and Sunday, winning them both.
Was there a limit on how many matches you could fish a week or anything that you?
No, it was only weekends or a bank holiday.
Maximum.
So if you fish, you could fish
season.
4 in a weekend
So
if you wanted.
obviously it was from June to March the following year. It was only in obviously the fishing season. But yeah, you could fish however many matches you wanted to, really. But obviously, usually it was like one on a Saturday and one on a Sunday. But when people started to proper chase them, that's when these fisheries thought, oh, right, we can hold another 50 pegger here at night. And as long as it was 3 hours in duration plus, then it'd count for points. And I remember on one of them where I scored, I think it was a 12-point weekend, I'd been Meadowview in the day, won there, travelled up to Cudmore, I was 40 minutes late, and I only had to fish about 2 hours of the match. I won that one as well. Fishing paste of all things.
Paste.
Oh, wow.
How dare I fish paste?
Shallow?
Paste, damp edge. No, I didn't have to fish some shallow. And yeah, it was brilliant. It's pretty much my life back then. I've not mentioned yet, but my wife Louise, I owe everything to her as well. She was at university for 4 years, and I think I only went to see her 2 times in 4 years. Pretty much every weekend she'd be coming back. So, obviously I've got the support of my wife, and I owe her everything as well. I'm not going to I'm not going to cry or anything.
No.
Give me some money. And
It's a selfish sport.
It is a selfish sport, definitely. If you want to, achieve these big things, it is very selfish. But obviously it's worked out for us now, like so. And yeah, you just keep going.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of those that without all of that previously, you probably wouldn't be where you are with your coach. Yeah, all that stuff, and obviously Fisher. That's led into what is your career now with coaching.
Yeah, so when did you take the dive? Because you were a banker.
Oh,
All
what?
right, cheeky. Can you imagine me in the bank like that on the keyboard? Where's the A gone?
What did you actually do?
So
at
basically,
the bank?
let's go back to my school days. So I went to see my careers advisor on the last day of school, and she said, "What do you want to do with your life, Andy?" So I'm like, "Well, all I want to do is go fishing." And she said, "You'll never make anything in your life with fishing. Let me join you up with an agency." So she joined me up with an agency who got me a job temping at Barclays Bank, and within 6 weeks they took me on full time. So at the time it was great, I was getting paid with my mates at uni and college and what have you. I was getting money, which is funding me fishing. But then obviously 10 years down the line I was no good basically. I was always 6 or 7 calls behind everyone else because I was so slow on a computer. And I just saw a gap. Neil Machin was the first one to do it around us. And I thought, yeah, what a good idea. And obviously Tiger Woods, best golfer in the world at the time, and he had a coach. So I thought, yeah, there's got to be something in it. All these anglers having coaches. So I'd looked into it and just, took a year out of the bank, like a career break, and just basically never looked back. And I've been doing it 13 years now, full time. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's probably between you and Neil, and obviously the few early ones, it's probably opened it up for a lot of others.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
doing it now.
A lot of people doing it, which is brilliant for the sport. It's fantastic, and obviously the sport where it is now with social media, there's never been a better time to learn. Yeah. I'm watching videos on. That sounds a bit wrong actually. Watching videos of Jamie, how he does it. No, that just sounds wrong.
No, but I fully understand what you mean. There's there's so much information available, and that's actually, it's increased the standard of anglers. There was a lot
100%.
Back in the day. You'd turn up at a venue, there were the venue regulars that were there all week. Everyone else had to work it out for themselves. Now you go on social media, you know how people have caught. It's all there.
Obviously, the likes of Partridge, they put the results up.
They've caught in 4 foot of water on pellets or shallow with maggots, and you know that information. Whereas in the past, you wouldn't know unless you'd, probably to the detriment of some tackle shops. You used to go in your tackle shop, and that's the sort of information you'd go in there to find out. Ask the tackle shop. Some tackle shops, and I keep saying it, the ones that keep going are the ones that will do the best, because some are closing, and every other tackle shop that keeps going will get that business.
Yeah,
there'll always be a place for tackle shops, but it's those that can stick it out that are going to carry on doing well.
Do you not think it's almost changed it a bit now, that it's not so much knowing how to fish a method, that everyone can find out that information. If they want to search videos or book a coaching date, you can find out how to do a certain thing. So it almost now
Or
comes
buy a
from,
magazine.
yeah, buy
Or
Pole
watch
Fishing
Winning Ways.
magazine. Yeah, buy Winning
buy
Ways.
Pole Fishing
yeah,
magazine.
only $4.99. It's kind of more down to the actual decision making now, because there's so many people who know how to tap pellets in for F1s or fisher, whatever. It's not that you're not going to learn a secret method.
I mean, that's fishing down to a T, though, Rich. It's always been about making the right decisions at the right time, and that's what separates some people who get to fish a lot more often than others. There's that much more in tune with the waters.
Yeah.
Not so much. Well, yeah, it is venue experts, but it's all about being out there. Reading the pressures on the day and what's happening.
Yeah.
I think everyone's done it. If you're like fishing a festival by like day 3, day 4, you're just in that
Your mum, 'cause
routine.
you've been on it. Been on it every night. Yeah, more beer.
But you're just so in that routine. You're not having to think about stuff. You're not doubting yourself. You're not questioning anything, and you just fish better, don't you?
I never doubt myself. How dare you?
I did.
You doubt me.
I was impressed you qualified.
What
to
am
be
I
fair.
doing with him?
Has he won it since Camazon Matchman of the Year?
No.
It's definitely right, though, isn't it? You get to a certain point watching and seeing how people are fishing. You can turn up at a venue, turn up with the right bait, but if you don't make the right decision at the right time, move on to something else
Definitely.
when conditions tell you or the fish tell you to do that, you're still not going to be winning matches.
100%,
So
it makes a massive difference,
And-
and I try and take a lot of that into my coaching so I can show them. I always approach it from a match perspective.
yeah,
Do you like that word?
match perspective.
Perspective. So obviously the anglers I'm coaching are getting used to it. Obviously it's completely different pleasure fishing, and I always tell them that. But it's the lines that you'd fish on the right time and knowing when to change and how to leave fish in your swim to draw others in and not completely exhaust them. Going all technical now,
Didn't we cover this very much in depth on the latest Winning Ways?
Winning Ways we might have done actually. What, $4.99 on Vimeo?
Bargain.
Yeah, watercraft's still the most important. Feeding,
Definitely.
presentation,
And
watercraft.
you can't. Obviously, you will learn that, but it can't be instilled straight away. You've got to
You
go
learn
out
it
there
by
and you've
doing it, don't you?
You've got to.
Fishing
It's
regularly.
the wild
and-
animals, aren't
yeah.
they? We used to say they were going to have it one day to the next,
Yeah, but
especially F1s.
horrible things.
Yep. So then you were at the bank.
Yeah,
You're doing that. You decided to take the plunge.
yeah. So obviously the first 6 months was real nerve-wracking. Obviously come from a steady income to like pretty much having nothing, and then slowly but surely it just increased. And the last 6 years has just gone nuts.
Yeah.
That
That mansion you live in now is absolutely
It's not
stunning.
It's not as much of a mansion, to be fair. is it?
No.
He actually owns the whole of Middlewich.
Yeah.
Lord of the Manor.
Andy May of Middlewich, of the Shire. No, it's brilliant, and it's just led on to obviously other things and other opportunities.
So,
Working with the likes of you two.
lovely,
Yes.
isn't it? But that probably segues quite nicely
Seg-
I want to go on a segue.
into kind of what. Obviously, there's the coaching side of things that everyone knows about and
Yeah.
fishing matches. But
Yeah.
as a professional angler or sponsored angler,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of does the average week involve? What are you getting up to in between that sort of thing that people
Drinking.
don't see?
No, so basically, I mean, I should do more prep than what I do because I do very little prep, unfortunately, because with having a young family, I don't really get time. So Saturdays for me is spending with my little lad, usually when the football's on, obviously football season. Sundays, proper family day for us, bike rides or taking my little girl ballet or swimming. And then on the Monday, obviously, I'll be either coaching, feature, or be doing Winning Ways. And then, obviously, the rest of the days through the week, it'll either be something like that. I'm fishing every single day, Monday to Friday. And then if there's a big qualifier on, obviously, when in the warmer months, and if it's within sort of an hour and a half, I'll fish it. If not, then it's family time for me. I'm very, very much, family focused, definitely.
Because you don't really fish that many just open matches
No.
now, do you?
I don't, no, not at all. And I'm not saying don't miss it. Of course I don't miss it. I love the competition side of it, the competition element of the fishing. But for me, it's the buzz of the big match now. I just couldn't go to like a commercial and fish
You'll
like
have
an
a
11
pegger.
pegger.
Do you
wouldn't
feel like your work-life balance is right now?
perfect,
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. I wouldn't change anything at the minute. It's just absolutely amazing, and it's allowed obviously my wife to go down to 2.5 days a week in her job, and it's just brilliant. We get to spend loads of time with the kids. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's time that we wouldn't have if I was still in the bank or anything like that. So I'm
Yeah.
glad I took the plunge.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, it's hardly hindered in terms of how often you're fishing those matches.
No.
You're picking and choosing. you're in tune because you're out all the time,
Definitely.
and you've qualified for two of the
Yeah,
biggest
absolutely.
finals this year.
You know, obviously, me and Jay touched on it last time. Now, Winning Ways $4.99 on Vimeo, but it's the thing that people think that you're given these sponsorships and you're given the opportunities. You're not. It's through hard work and determination and pure effort.
And
You're not just given something.
yeah, and I think from obviously my side of things, having
It
worked at
it
companies,
winds me up when I get, oh, well, he's sponsored, you know what I mean? What's
I
it
think
matter? He's going to get
there's-
it given to him.
there's a
They
big
don't see all that
difference
goes on behind it.
as well between a good angler and a good sponsored angler. Obviously, nowadays there's a lot more obviously presence on social media, being able to do video work and
Yeah.
write features. There's so many more skills that, other than just fishing. You could be the best angler in the world, but if you're a nightmare on Facebook, getting into arguments.
To be fair, there is some idiots on Facebook, and it proper does my head in. You know, it's just one of them things. You know, you're not going to please all the people all the time. But if what winds me up is when they don't know you and they'll slag you off. It proper winds me up. But it's just one of them. Let them get on with it.
You've got to take it a bit, and you've as an
Yeah,
angler
you have.
yourself, you've got to be squeaky clean because nowadays any
Everything's
video,
monitored.
everyone's looking for that little thing that.
And they'll be like, put it on
you-
straight
use
away.
your-
Oh,
use
yeah,
your
he's
own-
doing this, he's doing
use
that.
your own nets at a fishery, and it's not in the
Yeah.
rules, even though you've had permission for the filming. Or you can't.
I'm just
like,
glad I've got you on my side.
Yeah, see, we
Proper.
this is it. We get relatively recently. We've had a couple of trolls on, and
Yeah.
they'll say something, and the first thing, we work in the industry, we know that we shouldn't, but the first thing that goes through my head is, all right, I'm going to retaliate,
Yeah.
and then I take a minute and just think, no, I'm not,
Yeah.
because
He doesn't.
Right, no,
No,
I've calmed down a bit now. To be fair.
Yeah, but Rich does it in a funny way that's pretty clever. But that's the way you've got to be.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We all would want to say things to these trolls,
Yeah.
and there's loads of them about,
Yeah.
but we can't.
But I think the thing is as well. I've spoke to like Joe when he was at Preston and like Matt and everyone else who runs social media, like Facebook pages
They
for
all get
various.
them.
It's the same half a dozen names that are popping up time and time again. So there must just be people that just sat at home,
They're bored, aren't they?
getting
Bored.
angry. Pellet and Corn on YouTube, shout out, is probably one of the main ones.
Yeah.
God knows who he is.
Pellet,
But it's the
Pellet and Corn said something nice about one of Joe's videos the
I
other
did,
day.
I did get one good comment off him, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like that small group of people that it's basically you're going to get in any walk
Yeah,
of life. There's
definitely.
going
Of
to be a
course
few
you are.
idiots, but
But what winds me up is when they say, "Oh, he's been given that." I mean, I've been doing it since I was 3 years old. For God's sake, you know what I mean? You're not given anything. You work for it,
Yeah.
and that's what I feel I've done. So there.
oh, does that feel better?
And relax.
So, but yeah, moving on from that, obviously Fishermania, you've got
Yeah.
other than winning it and qualifying this year,
Yes.
you've got quite a kind of past with it, obviously from the presenting side of things.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I'm very
ha-
fortunate position. You know,
How
obviously
did
I've
that
done,
come about?
done quite a bit of work for Sky. It was when it first moved to Cudmore in 2008. They were looking for someone to present it.
As a venue expert.
And I was going to do it, but I qualified in 2008.
Did you?
Yes, first time qualified, and yeah, obviously I couldn't do it, but the following sort of few years I did, and then it's just gone from there. Really, I've done quite a few, adverts with them and everything, and we're doing an interview again with them next week. Me
You and
Jamie.
Joe, yeah.
And yeah, it's brilliant how it all falls into place.
Who's replacing you this year then?
I don't know. It might be. I don't know. Neil McKinnon or Steve Cook. I would have thought, or they might not even have anyone. I don't know. I'm irreplaceable, Richard.
The two very good presenters of the Matchcast would be perfect
Oh,
choices
that'd be
for
amazing.
them. But
Do you want me to
I
put a
don't-
word in next week? You'll be there. You put your own word in. Right, you. But yeah, no, it's brilliant how these opportunities arise, and you just take them. It's fantastic.
Nice.
It's very nice.
So, just to round that bit off nicely,
Go on, mate.
what's left to achieve for Andy May within match fishing?
Match fishing, you never stop. You want to achieve, and obviously we've all got goals. Just want to get in these big competitions all the time, carry on being successful, and just hope my coaching carries on from
Yeah.
strength to strength. It is, touch wood, it is doing, so I just hope it carries on.
No ambitions to become like feeder masters or anything like that?
I'd like to do him, but
Or
I
just no time?
No time. I think for something like that, obviously it's the preparation. I don't even get enough time to prep for, you know, these big matches that I'm in. I've not done anything
I
yet.
need one rod and a feeder
Well,
and a worm.
yeah, if only it was that simple, Rich. If only it was that simple, mate. I'd love to. I'd love to go back, you know, proper to my roots and all that, and fish the feeder, and obviously the river mass as well. I miss like the Weaver, you know, there's qualifying that. I love that river. But at the minute, I'm just
Happy
I'm
what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm happy doing
Got the
what I'm
right
doing.
balance. And
Definitely.
What is it that drives you? Is it the competition or is it
He's
the
got
money?
a van.
Yeah, I've got.
Yeah,
I've
it's
got
a Vauxhall.
Vivaro. It's got Vivaro, isn't it? It's not got cruise control.
What drives? Is it money that drives you in fishing, or is it the competition? Do you just like that buzz
I
of
just
competition?
love it. I mean, I tell everyone and I coach this time of year, when I've done, usually finish sort of 3:30 or 4, I'll give me dad a ring, see where he's taking my little lad, and I'll go and join him for an hour or two. I just can't get enough of it. Proper.
Is your lad
love
getting
it.
into
love
it now?
fishing.
a bit?
Oh yeah, he ain't got much choice. Fishing. No, I just absolutely love it. Can't get enough of it. Yeah, the money's great, but you don't go fishing for money. It's nothing to do with that. It's just about being out in this, and you know what I mean. It's
Not in an office dealing with people's money and.
Yes, definitely not. Wondering where the A is on the keyboard. Where's it gone? Yeah, no, I just absolutely love it. Just hope it continues. Awesome.
Excellent.
Nice.